Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Collective Consciousness. My name is Tiny and I'm your host. I am so happy to welcome you to the show where we focus on expanding your consciousness. This show is specifically designed for individuals who are on their journey to self-mastery. So if that is an individual like yourself, take 1 second and smash that subscribe button down below and go ahead and hit the like button. It super helps out the channel and we'd love to welcome you to the family. What we're talking about today is going to be your shadow self. Okay, so we're gonna get a little psychological for y'all. We're gonna talk about Carl Jung, we're gonna talk about Jungian psychology, and we're gonna talk about how to bring your shadow self to the light. So if you're ready to dive right on in, let's do it. All right, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about shadow work. Shadow work is how you integrate the aspects of your unconscious psyche to your conscious experience and allow the positive aspects of the shadow to express themselves. When properly used and channeled, this shadow self has traits that you can use to further your own personal development. Jungian psychology. So it's Carl Jung, right? So it would be Jungian. Am I saying it right? Somebody help me out in the comments. Jungian psychology. Okay, y'all. So I just want, before we continue, we need to have a real moment. I made some sea moss for the first time, and when I tell you I'm feeling like electric and vibrant and just like out of this world. Sea moss, I am a huge advocate. I suggest you get you some. And if you don't know where to get you some, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll hook it up for you. All right? Because it's got me, look at how I'm feeling. I feel like I just chugged a Red Bull. I feel like I have wings. All right, so let's move forward. According to Carl Jung, an infamous psychologist, your shadow self represents your unconscious aspect of the personality that the ego does not identify within itself. It's also recognized as the unknown self. So we'll go a little bit deeper into that before we continue with that slide. So basically what that means, your shadow self is the dark side, right? Your mysterious side. You know, everything has an ebb and flow to it, a yin and yang, a balance, a positive, a negative, right? We as people are the same. So while we also have our light selves, we have our shadow selves. I'm sorry. I was trying to be a little dramatic. Was it too much? I'm getting all tangled up. Okay, so what I mean is your shadow self, it's like the deepest, darkest secrets, the reasons and the traumatic situations that cause us to behave a certain way, that cause us to get a little calloused from the world, a little cold shoulder here and there, right? You know how they say like, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? That scorned woman has a huge shadow self. She has a lot of shadow work to do, right? So when you do shadow work, it reveals some of these truths that you might have like suppressed in your unconscious or subconscious, right? All of these things, like when I was 2 years old, I had a very traumatic memory take place between my mother and my father, right? And that was my first memory in life. And although I do remember it, that is a huge part of my shadow work, my shadow self that I had to confront and heal from. You know, all of these things kept manifesting in my own relationships throughout my adolescence years, I guess, through my early 20s. Okay. So like doing that shadow work helped me heal to be able to move forward and have a healthy, non-toxic relationship, so these types of things are very important because they affect us in our adult lives, in work, our professional lives, our relationships, our families. That gets trickled down from generation to generation. If we don't heal, if we don't take the time and take the moment to really address our traumas, address the dark side, address what drives that part of you, and how can you bring it to light? How can you heal it? How can you move forward from those things that are stopping your progress, right? We have to address that in this lifetime, in this generation, so we don't pass it down to future generations. Y'all keeping up with me here? Okay, so working on your shadow self and doing this shadow work is going to basically iron out all the kinks, bring all the skeletons out of the closet, and just clean up that area within your soul. Okay. All right. Let's dive back into the slide. So Carl Jung was also known for his empirical science of the psyche. For years, he worked closely with Freud in a collaboration on psychoanalysis. So when we're talking about bringing your shadow self to life, there are 7 things that you can do to make that happen. Number 1, believe you are worthy and things will get better.
We are all magical beings, and your power solely depends on your belief system. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. That's a famous quote from Napoleon Hill. But what this means is we all have within us the God particle. The answer lies in your DNA. All you have to do is tap into it. Believe that you are worthy. Believe that you deserve better and you deserve everything in this life. And what you believe, you will have.
Number 2, pay attention to your emotions that you feel.
Emotions are natural, so don't suppress them. Recognize the emotion, feel it, and then choose your reaction. Just because we're emotional beings doesn't mean that we need to always act upon these emotions. The definition of emotional maturity is in any situation being able to regain composure and act in love and compassion.
Number 3, identify your shadow.
Now we have to identify all the limitations that you put on yourself. The feeling of I am not worthy, I am not good enough, I do not deserve. These feelings are limiting beliefs that we create for ourselves that prevent us from excelling in our physical lives. So being able to recognize and dive into and examine and become aware of these limiting beliefs, then we'll be able to knock them down.
4, investigate your feelings objectively with compassion.
Okay, so the first thing is you have to be honest with yourself. Like, objectively analyze yourself, but without being too hard, okay? Understand that you're not in competition with anybody. This is the only competition you have, is the competition between you and your best self, okay? So have patience with your growth. This is not something that will happen overnight, but be aware of where you are. Be honest about where you are. And understand that there is always space and room to grow and get better.
5, focus on your breathing.
It is ridiculous how much we as humans underestimate the power of breath. When you breathe, it creates energy. You can utilize this energy to transmute how you feel. Okay, the power of breath is so important. Breathing has so many physical positive effects as well on the body. You can heal yourself through breath.
6, explore your shadow.
So now that you have identified the shadow and you have learned how to effectively breathe and transmute this energy, it's time to dive in and explore the shadow. Okay, you can use different techniques, meditation, therapy, chakra alignment, which is probably the most powerful, journaling, group support. You can record your dreams in a dream journal or something like that. Find a way to really dive into what happened and how to uncover these childhood traumas and really get to know yourself.
And 7, nurture your inner child.
So, for most of us, the shadow self was developed through childhood traumas. When we are children, we are the purest and the closest to our higher selves. So, when you nurture your inner child, then you're nurturing your higher self. And this can lead you to your life's divine purpose. That is the whole reason why we're here, to find and to follow our personal divine purpose. So, nurturing your inner child is going to get you that much closer to achieving that goal.
So, this is not something that can be accomplished overnight, of course. This is something that takes time to really unfold, to delve into, to explore, to heal, right? To feel that emotion. You know, a lot of the times we feel like we shouldn't feel emotion as humans. And it's like, you're human. That's what we do. We're emotional beings, but that doesn't mean you must act on the emotion, as we discussed earlier, right? I can feel angry, but I don't need to act on my anger. I can address the fact that I feel angry. I can process through that, and then I can choose a different behavior or a different action to act out that will be more symbiotic with my higher self. Okay, so when in a situation, like really like ask yourself, like, is this me or is this my shadow self taking over? Is this some unaddressed trauma? Next time you get into an argument with a friend or in a relationship or with your mom, I don't know. Ask yourself, am I listening? 1. And 2, like, is this something that is coming up from my shadow self? And do that shadow work. Dive into yourself and heal from the intergenerational traumas that we have been passed down for generations, for centuries. This is something that is very vital for our culture right now, because we are in a shift in energy on our planet, in the universe. The place where we are in the universe, our galaxy is. The place that our galaxy is in the universe is a different place than it's ever been before. And the energy within this space is different. We are moving more to an enlightened time of being. And right now is the time to heal. So that's why this is so important, okay? I also have a monthly, I call it my monthly Coco subscription, a monthly collective consciousness subscription. If this is something that you are interested in, if these topics are something that you would like to learn more about, if 15-minute episodes is not long enough for you, I totally get it. You want to talk to somebody about it. You want to share what you may have learned. You would like a community of like-minded individuals. That is what the monthly Coco subscription is for. It's like a VIP package. We are launching it in March. So down below, I'm going to include the collective consciousness email. If you are interested, please do send an email to collectiveconsciousness23@gmail.com. Again, I'm going to put it down below in the comments or in the description. So please do send an email and tell me what your interest is and just your name and where you're coming from. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. I will that all of you dive into your shadow selves and are able to bring all of that darkness to light. Thank you so much for joining. We will see you next week, Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Asè and Namaste.